Hello, I managed to take an Atto 3 for a test drive. Recently, I met a guy called Rob, and he owns a Tesla Model 3 Performance and a BYD Atto 3. And he and I met up in Kings Park in Western Australia, and I took his Atto 3 for a test drive. Here's what I found. So whilst we'll take a little look around the outside of the vehicle, I'll put up some of its key features at the bottom of the screen. Looks-wise, well, it's always very subjective. Personally, it's okay. I wouldn't say it's pretty. I wouldn't say it's ugly. But it's very a functional small SUV. Now we'll go and have a look at the inside. For me, the ability to get in and out is very important because I do struggle. The back is a bit squeezy. Legroom in the passenger side back is all right. Headroom's okay. On the driver's side, that seat is set for somebody about 5'10" to 6 foot driving. So it's a bit squeezy there, but yeah, it's possible to get in and out for me. And that is one thing that's very important for me. In the back, you've got a USA and a USB-C as well as A, and the heating, cooling controls there. Yeah, I think that this bit's a bit of a gimmick. I think it's meant to appeal probably to the younger generation, which is not me. So getting in and out of the driver's seat, okay, it's not too bad. The frunk is non-existent. Now, there is actually a noise maker for when you're going at low speed, and a lot of people disable it. So to disable it, you take this front cover off at the front, look down there to the front, and there's a cable. Pull that cable off and the noise shuts off, and there it is gone. All right. As I said, getting in and out of the back wasn't too bad. The front, yep, front passenger seat, not too shabby. The back, the front seats are all electrically adjustable. And this is one thing that Teslas don't have, vehicle to load. So here he's plugged in the cable and he's going to plug in his vacuum cleaner to clean the inside of the car. And this actually works. There is no sound because there was so much noise going on. I've had to delete the sound here. But I can assure you it works. So you've got a small load there. I think you can get 10 amps maximum out at 240 volts. So a couple of kilowatts. So now we're sitting in the Atto 3. Ready?
Let's drive.
Drive. Yes.
So yes, at the moment it's just set up with as you drive an automatic car. So auto hold is off, which is my preferred way of driving because I'm not a big fan of the auto hold. It sort of makes up its own mind if it's going to stop or not, depending on how slow you're crawling at the time.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. So with my Teslas, I've got auto hold on. So I can take my foot off, regen braking kicks in, and then...
Unfortunately, with the BYD, with their braking system, I believe it's a Bosch system, which mixes regen in when you press the brake pedal. Right. So there's no one pedal driving.
Right.
Which is probably okay for this target market.
Yeah. Look, I mean, as a price point, I've sat in the BYDs before, but this is the first time I've taken one for a drive, and I'm suitably impressed. For the price, which you can get it on the road in WA for 48 after you've got the 3,500 from the West Australian government rebate. Did you get that?
Yep, so this is the extended range model.
Yeah.
So it comes up at about
blue, comes up at just over 51.
Yep, and then you get the rebate and it brings it back down just to below 50.
Yeah, so, you know, it drives very nicely. It hasn't got a huge take up when you put your foot down, but it's not too shabby.
Compared to a Tesla, what I found is the acceleration rolls on slowly when you put your foot down.
It's not a bang.
That's right.
And jerk yourself back and give yourself whiplash.
That's correct. So it's oodles for overtaking at 110.
Yeah. Do we have sat nav on here?
We do. It's one of the first over-the-air updates that came down. The car didn't ship with any sat nav. We can put that on. Navigation. The first over-the-air update gave us sat nav and Spotify.
Right. So you got Spotify as well. Excellent.
Yep. It's not an account like the Tesla comes with.
It's just a free one.
Yeah, or you can put your own Spotify.
You can put your own on there.
Yeah.
So it's got all the usual. It's got cruise control.
Yeah, adaptive cruise. It's got lane keeping, but it's very much a keep hands on the wheel situation, and you can feel it tugging and keeping you in the middle.
Yeah, you can't drive it like this.
I'm not confident enough to let go.
No.
Yeah.
You shouldn't on the Model 3 or the Model Y. The
Correct,
Teslas.
but in the Model 3, the way you drive it is you're waiting for, in the corner of your eye, you see that little thing put some torque on the steering wheel, and you just give it a little nudge.
Yes.
You've got your hands on the wheel ready to take over, but you're not actually holding the wheel.
No, I usually sit there just with my, hold on, going around the corner. I just sit there like this and just have a very slight bit of a pull on the steering wheel.
Yep. So with this one, what I found after doing a country trip is it is torque based, not capacitive. So, but there's no indication anywhere on any screen that it's time to give it a nudge. So I haven't worked out what the optimum time. It seems to be more often than Tesla. And when it complains, it goes beep 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 beep, and it's quite obtrusive. And you'll know about it when it says put your hands back on the wheel.
Yeah, it's torque sensitive on the Tesla as well, not capacitive.
Yeah.
Because you can be touching it and not putting any torque, and it will say hold the steering wheel. So you then just have to give it a little jiggle. Right. So if I go.
It may just be.
Oh no, it's
that one. Yep.
It's the other side. This is the standard Asian Australian side. The Teslas, America and Europe are on this side.
Yep. What's the word? Homologation?
Homologation.
Homologation. That's the one.
Yeah. So I've just got to remember it's on the right on this. Can we have the sat nav?
Yes,
back. There it is. Yeah.
The sat nav's not too bad for a first time. It's their own app. They're not.
Yeah. So
anything.
Response is actually pretty nippy on the screen.
It's probably not as good as the modern Teslas with the Ryzen-based processor.
Yeah. You've got a Tesla as well as this, so you've got both worlds.
Yeah,
yours is an older Tesla, so it's got the Atom processor, and it's not too bad, but this is definitely faster than the Atom by a mile.
You reckon? I reckon it's about similar. The one thing that does, the one thing I noticed that this does that the Tesla doesn't, which I thought might be a gimmick, on the wheel is this button here, which turns it that way.
Oh yes.
Now, this is a gimmick for every single use case for me, except for navigation. Because if you look at the navigation, you can actually see
that way.
You can see much further into the distance, especially when you put it into the isometric view.
I can actually see that could have
if we go
value.
If we go to there, let's hit go.
Guidance will start now.
I'm just trying to get into the isometric view. How do you change it to the isometric view? That's not it. Let's cancel that. Let's go to here. 2D heading. 2D heading north. 3D heading up. That's what I want. It's back now. There. Yeah, so that's an isometric view which you can sort of see. Yeah, see much further into the distance now.
Yes.
With it in that position.
I think with the screen rotation, yes. It's not too bad. So then put it back.
You are over the speed limit.
My apologies, darling.
Because I've never heard that before, I think it's just because we're in Kings Park. There must be something specific about Kings Park that's making it do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see, I guess.
So we'll just go left here, go down around and come back. The seat, I think it's slightly firmer seat than what I've got in my Y, but it's not bad. It's got good side support.
Yeah, the seats are interesting. They're perfect for me. My wife finds that she's a little bit shorter and her head hits the backrest a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So just the way her body is set up, her neck is a little bit straighter than mine. So she finds that the headrest is pushing against her head a bit too much. So she needs a pillow or something. Whereas in the Tesla, it's fine for Tesla seats are amazing.
So it detects the speed limit.
It does, yeah.
So it actually detects the road signs, or it's
it's vision based, yeah, road signs.
It is vision based.
Yes. Yep. And you can set it up so that it will, in cruise control, it'll follow those speed limits as it detects them.
And roadworks speed signs, if they're down on the ground.
I haven't been through too many yet, but I have noticed in the north part of the freeway, it is correctly detecting the 80 sections, whereas the Tesla always wants to go 100 for some reason.
Yes.
And I think there's a hard speed limit set in the Tesla navigation system that no matter what, the speed limit is 100, and there's just no way to, it's just not using vision to detect speed signs at all for some reason. What do you think of the brakes? This car's brake by wire, so it's there's no direct hydraulics under your foot. It's all electronic. So it's doing, when you press your brake pedal, it's applying mainly regen and then blending in friction brakes at the end to stop.
Right. Okay.
So to me, it's not perfect. It's acceptable.
Red light camera ahead.
There you go. It's telling you about this red light camera just up here.
Yes. How nice of it.
I've had a couple times that come up saying speed camera ahead. Most people would just use Waze for that, of course.
Yes. Okay, so
it's okay.
It feels spongy.
Yes,
it feels spongy.
It definitely does not feel like a hydraulic,
but it's brake by wire.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the first thing that most people notice is the brakes feel a little strange. They definitely stop. I've already had a few circumstances of testing them. The tyres are not great. The stock tyres that come with it.
What are the stock tyres on this?
They are
Chinese.
They are called Batman.
Yes. Batman tyres. Na 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 na.
Yeah, it literally says Batman on the outside.
So they're a Chinese brand, are they?
Yeah, so I've got a feeling they're going to be a hard compound and they'll take like 50,000 or more Ks to use up before I put some better tyres on.
Well, on my Model 3, I did 60,000 before I needed to change the tyres.
Yeah.
And they're Michelin Pilot Sport 4s, specifically for an EV.
Yep. On the Performance Model 3, they're Pirelli P0s, so they only last, well, it depends how you drive, but they only last about 15,000.
Yes.
Very much depends how many track days you go to. This might be a chance to put your foot down and actually get an idea of the curve.
You are over the speed limit. Red light camera ahead.
Now I'm going back this way.
You can mute that.
No, I think I might leave it in just for a joke.
Yeah, just like blur it. Just blur it out there in this camera. Allegedly going over the speed limit.
Yes. Yes, she said allegedly.
Yes.
But she missed out the word allegedly. So, yeah, I think the seat isn't too bad. As I said, it's got reasonable side support. It just feels a bit firmer in the base, but it's very squidgy in the back. And both front seats are electrically adjustable, up, down, forwards, backwards, and the back goes up and down.
Yeah, fronts are heated, back's not. The mirrors have got your little orange lights that come on.
Yeah, I've noticed an orange triangle when there's a car or a vehicle behind us there on the side.
Yeah, it's also got your you know, the standard sort of safety features like emergency braking forwards, also emergency braking backwards if a car's going cross traffic.
Up to what sort of speed?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the specs for that.
Because with the Tesla, I think once you go below 5, so you're just creeping forwards, it will creep forwards into the car in front. I do believe.
That sounds about right. The Tesla doesn't have emergency braking backwards for cross traffic, whereas this does.
Yes.
That's a differentiating point.
So emergency braking for cross traffic when you're in reverse.
Yeah, when you're backing out onto a street and there's a car in the way.
And it will take over and stop you.
Correct. The camera system in this is quite good compared to the Tesla as well. I believe it's that button there. It'll take you to. You can change it to a 3D mode where it actually you can actually see all around the car, stitches them all together. A lot of cars have got that now. Does a pretty good job too. You can see a couple of little stitching marks.
That's pretty damn good.
It's good. The other interesting feature is this one here, which actually
so that's reverse and that's top down.
Or is it that one? That one. It records with the camera in front what's ahead, and then buffers it back to underneath the car, so you can actually see underneath the car, and you can see the lane markings, or if you're over a fire hydrant mark or anything like that. Handy for parking.
Nice.
Handy feature.
Yeah.
Actually, obviously, a little bit of coding work has gone in to make that work. Doesn't quite line up there, but you know that's what's under the car there was recorded before you got to it, but from the front camera. There's no camera under the car.
No.
Yeah.
No. And
dash cam always recording on all cameras.
And how many cameras are there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6, I think. Unless there's more than what's available on this interface, but I believe.
Where are we going now? Need to get back to Kings Park.
Oh, we can. There's no voice. Is there voice navigation? No, there's no voice navigation yet. But we could just go back to the navigation app. It's just Android, so you've got an Alt tab. You can change between your music and your whatever settings. That's your Alt tab button. We want to go back to navigation. Let's do it via the interface that they give us.
Just type in Kings Park, and it comes up with that. Yeah, I can't do a U-turn. It's not allowed.
No, you can do a right on the arrow, and then it'll just re-navigate it'll reroute us.
Because it says no, it doesn't say U-turn permitted, so you're not permitted to do a U-turn. I was too busy driving, I missed the turn back in.
It's alright, you got 400 k's to drive around, and supposedly. That guess would only be if you're doing 60 or 70 k's an hour.
And that says it's got 83%. So that's probably a little bit optimistic.
I'd say it is. At highway speeds, that would be more likely 300 k's, not 400.
Yeah.
Let's just hit go and see what happens.
Guidance will start map. You are now off track. Rerouting. In 250 meters, turn right to Collins Street.
I love how it tells you off. You're off track.
Oh dear.
So I reckon that's alright.
Turn right to Collins Street.
American accent. Interesting.
In 500 meters, enter the roundabout and take the second exit.
So, yeah, it has got a slight American accent, hasn't it?
Interesting playing around with all these things as a passenger. I haven't really had a chance to...
In 300 meters, enter the roundabout and take the second exit to Collins Street.
I wonder if this volume will let us turn that down a little bit. No, that does media volume, but broadcast volume is there. Let's turn it down a little bit. Try that. Yeah, it all makes sense. The user interface is quite acceptable. I'm very happy with it.
Yes, I think it's actually quite responsive, really.
Lots of buttons everywhere. You can press your climate control on and off here. You can hit auto if you've modified it.
Take the second exit.
That was a bit late.
In 250 meters at the end of the road, turn right to Kings Park Road, and then you will arrive at your destination.
Okay, so can we cancel that?
In 150
Because I'm going
meters
left.
at the end of the road, turn right
Because
to
I need
Kings
to-
Park Road, and then you will arrive at your destination.
X. There we go.
Because I think I need to go left, which is where we came in.
Yeah, that makes sense. The driving settings you're in at the moment are Sport, which is decidedly not sporty, and the regen setting is set to High. So the way the brakes work in this car is when you take your foot off the accelerator, it just gives you a slight drag, maybe like 15 or 20 kilowatts of regen, compared to your Tesla, which will hard brake if you take your foot off the accelerator and do
yeah, and it can get up to 50 kilowatts or more.
Yeah, so this has got a similar amount of regen, but it does require you to put your foot on the brake pedal, and it mixes the regen in with the friction brake.
Yeah, I noticed it just basically coasts.
Yeah, it's slow. It's like it feels like a petrol car, like just in third gear.
Right, so let's see if we can use cruise control. Where's that?
This button here to turn it on, that's on, and
Right.
then this button, press it down to set.
Right, so 40, because it's 40.
Yep, and at the moment you've got the lane assist turned on, so you should feel it tugging at the steering wheel a little bit to keep it in plane.
Yes,
Yep.
yes it is.
And if you want to turn that off, that's that button there, or you could leave it on.
Or put your foot on the brake.
Yes.
Okay.
Which will
So, and
disable
this
it.
is reading out 9 kilowatts, which is what it's using to travel at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Graph on the left is your power usage, and on the right is your
So we
battery.
turn it off, and then it goes around this way.
I love how you're wanting to use the cruise control now that you got told off for going over the limit.
Yeah. In my Tesla, I used the cruise control the whole time.
Yeah.
You know, this is not a bad car for the money.
It's incredible.
And if you didn't
Incredible
buy the
money.
blue and the larger battery, you'd save yourself it's 700 for the colour and a couple of thousand for the.
What is it? 44, 40, I think it's about 6,000 extra for the extended.
Is it?
The prices are changing all the time though.
All the
It's
time.
different to when I ordered it back in.
But even if it's just a few thousand,
Yep.
it brings it down to $45,000 for a car that is very capable.
I'd say it's 70% of the way to the refinement of driving of a Tesla and features. Maybe not of driving. I think the Tesla is a much
Well, you
nicer
own
car
both,
to,
so
the Tesla is a much nicer car to drive, but the price increase
You are
over
over the
this,
speed limit.
the price increase that you pay for the Tesla over this doesn't warrant. It doesn't warrant the extra you get from driving, I think. It is interesting giving people test drives, and when they ask how much it is, you can see the cogs turning in their head.
So I just pressed resume, but it didn't. Oh well.
This because we turned it off and on. Yeah. So there's nothing to resume.
No. Yeah. So for 45 or 48,000 after rebate in Western Australia, I think this car isn't bad, and you can do 400 k's in it, the same as I can in my Model Y. So I think it's not bad. I am suitably impressed. I was a bit peeved at first with the order process, the lack of communication, and so on.
Yep, they've got a lot of learning to do, I think.
Yes. I'll park over here for you. Then you...
Yeah, whatever you want.
There you have it. Test driving the BYD Atto 3. I was pleasantly surprised with how good it was. For a car that costs in the region of $45,000 to $48,000, it's pretty good value for money. So I think the future is bright for BYD, especially if they can bring in their Dolphin, which is a smaller, cheaper car, and their Seal, whatever it will be called, Atto 4, which will be a competitor to the Model 3. I think they're going to go great guns, providing they can maintain their output and their quality. I hope you enjoyed that. So don't forget, click that like and subscribe button below, and I'll see you all very soon.